Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So early last year I made this dress for our formal introduction of my fiance to my parents, and I absolutely loved how it turned out. This was the inspiration for the dress I just got from Pinterest and decided to try make it myself. Quick disclaimer, I am by no means a fashion designer or a pattern maker or a seamstress. I just did home science and I know how to sew. So I figured, it can't be that hard to replicate, considering I'll be using clothes I already have, so I won't have to like draw out patterns, cut them out, all that jazz. So it's a fabric I got this together with the is it netting? I believe, yeah, netting. It's a sort of stretch net fabric which is just perfect, light enough, and this is the idea for it to go above the kitenge below while still letting the kitenge's pattern shine. Like I said, I will be using a dress that I already own that fits me really, really well, just to make the process of cutting a lot easier than having to measure myself, transfer it to the fabric, all of that. So I'm just gonna fold the dress in half to put it on fold. Is it on fold? Yeah, that's what you call it. And I'm gonna make use of chalk and this pair of scissors to just draw it out, basically draw out the pattern of the dress I already own onto the fabric I intend to cut. So that's basically what I'm doing here, just making sure I get all the nooks and crannies in order. I'll still confirm once I'm done transferring the pattern onto the fabric, but ideally it fits me pretty perfectly, so I'm sure that the measurements of it are gonna just transfer. So what I'm doing here is transferring the darts as well, the darts of the dress onto the fabric, just so that it's nice and snug at the waist but leaves room at the hips. So next will just be to cut that out, and that makes up my front piece with the fold. So it's just going to be one piece that goes across, well, is it across? Yes, across my front. Next is to cut out the back pieces, and these ones will just be individual pieces, like two separate pieces, because there's the zipper in between. So I'm just going to use the same front piece. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm just recreating a dress with a little skill I've got. So any kind of edits that I'll need to make, I'll make after the process is complete, because of course I'll be sewing and trying it on a couple of times just to confirm that everything fits. The back piece has darts also, just to accommodate, the smaller waist, the curve of your back, all of that. Now comes the fun part, the actual sewing or stitch, well, sewing. I'm gonna need the pins to hold my pieces together, and this is the zipper I'm using. It's one of those concealed ones, just so that all the hardware is tucked in once it's zipped up and closed. So this is how it looks like after attaching the zipper. So I've just realized that it's not aligned, like the pattern isn't aligned, but I'm not about to go back in there and undo and reduce, so it'll have to do. And it opens and closes pretty well, so I'm happy with that. Next, I'm working on the darts that we had marked out for both the front and the back pieces. just to cinch it in at the waist. Next is to attach the front and the back pieces. The dress is now ready for the first fitting. First of all, let's ignore my tan lines. We're just from the coast on holiday, so yeah, allow it. Anyway, so this is how it looks so far. The hips do need some adjusting. They are currently poking out, which is weird. And also my neckline area. So I need to measure that out to figure out the exact measurement I need and take it in a bit. Before going back to the sewing machine, I figured I might as well start on the cover up. So I'm just going to be using an old t-shirt. Well, okay, the old was unnecessary, but a t-shirt that I have that fits really well, nice and loose, a bit oversized because it will be going over a dress. So I will be using this t-shirt just to measure out to cut out the pattern for the cover up. I'm tracing the cover up pattern from the t-shirt, excluding the sleeves because I'll cut those separate, and I'm also measuring out the full length that I want the cover up to be. This is the front piece that has a slightly lower neckline, just so that it sits a bit lower on my neck. And this is the back piece right on top of it, so you can see the differences. Next is to trace and cut out the sleeves from the t-shirt. I wanted the sleeves to get to my elbow, so I just measured myself and transferred that to the fabric. Next is the cuffs. The cuffs will be in the Kitenge fabric, so I need to measure the length to know what to transfer to the fabric. I've just realized I've not been mentioning seam allowances, but yeah, if you're doing this, don't forget to add your seam allowances to every measurement. The next measurement I'll need is for the hem of the dress, basically the bottom circumference. So I'm just going to measure the front piece and back piece just to make sure it's exact and cut that out from the Kitenge fabric. That's going to be Kitenge as well. Now it's time to put all the pieces together before I get onto the sewing machine. So I've started with the cuffs here, attaching them to the sleeve pieces. episode I'm watching of Come Dine With Me, the single one, and she's made mashed potatoes, but she didn't peel the potatoes before boiling. What? So mtu ametoa tu like a chunk of peel from the mouth. They didn't know, I think, like it's that mushed in there, so you might think it's like spice or something. Wakikula ndio sana namuuliza, did you boil them? She's like, yeah. But did you peel them? No. Attaching the two net pieces genuinely was an extreme sport just because of the type of the fabric. It's pretty thin, pretty light. So I had to do a lot of adjusting in terms of like the stitch size, the stitch length, the pressure on the presser foot. Anyway, I made it work in the end. Another fitting just to confirm that everything is as it should be and it's pretty perfect. The length is great. I'm happy. The cover up is done now. I just used the hem, the bottom of the fabric as it is, and I also attached the neck piece, more kitenge, just to finish that neckline seam. A bunch of adjustments later, especially to the dress. This is the finished look. As you can see, I'm pretty proud of myself with how this turned out. Front and back, it fits great, and I'm happy. Of course, I had to do the dance test. Please excuse my dance. And the running test, just to confirm I can run and walk properly in case I do need to make any last minute adjustments. But overall, everything is great. I can sit. Chapos. Great. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been fun, showing you guys how I made this dress. Let me know what you think and please don't judge me too harshly. Catch you on the flip side.